Hey, what's up, family? I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. We've been having just the most fabulous weather here in Southern California, and it just makes for a pleasant night to be able to share with you something very, very important. So, tonight, I want to talk to you about something very, very important for those producers that are going to be file sharing. So, by chance, last night, my friend Alet Frias was here, and he was recording some backgrounds for an upcoming live production, actually, that they're doing at the Long Beach Arena. And so he was doing the pre-dubs for vocals and things like that. And so here's his vocals, here's his session. I'll show you right now. And one of the things that I want you to see is kind of how this session kind of turned out. You know, here's the music that he had right there in the purple, the click there in the green. And this is Vox 1 through Vox 11. Now, I should also say that these weren't all the way named. And I want to stop and just kind of give you a couple things. Number one, you want to make sure that if you're about to export or share files to someone that you want to work with, you want to make sure that you send them something that is named or labeled and that is nice and clean or consolidated. That's what I want to show you how to do tonight. The other thing that you want to do is a lot of times we'll do like, you'll mix as you go along and, oh, this would sound sick if, I had this reverb on it or this room sound on it or whatever it is that you're doing. The thing is, most producers do not, let me say this nice and slow. Most producers do not, or let me back that up. Well, producers, but especially engineers, do not want to receive your files with your plugins in them. That takes away their job. They're the ones that are in charge of doing the sound design, and it is very unprofessional. And it is very, I just got to tell you, I have to stress this for you. It is very micromanaging for you to, pre-mix your stuff before you send it. Unless, of course, you're known for this particular sound. Maybe it might be a guitar thing. Or unless you're a bass player that they want this one thing that you've already done on the record and the producer knows about it, the engineer knows about it. In that case, of course, everything that should be, talked about has been discussed. Okay. But if not, let me show you how to do it. So here's all the files, of course. We went through number one. You make sure that everything is labeled. But now there's sections, right? There's sections. And what happens if you try to export this, it's going to be a little bit of a mess. And you'll notice that it has a bunch of different names. Now, I don't want to go through all my bad stories, but I have enough stories to tell you that if for some reason, God forbid, some data problem happens to you, there's no way you're going to be able to know what files belong to what song. If it's called, what does it say? Vox 1 underscore 29-01. This is every producer, engineer's worst nightmare for someone to receive files like this. So what do? What I do is I go to the end, okay, of this recording, make sure it's really truly the end. All right, and by that, sometimes I'll just kind of like make it small so I can see all my files. Okay, this is the end. All right, so I'll go to the end. It doesn't necessarily have to be right at the end. You can give yourself a little bit of extra wiggle room, no biggie. Let's just say I'm going to go from here. Let's see, the Vox 1 starts right here down to Vox 11. I see that. I'm not selecting them for any particular purpose right now because I'm about to do something different. I'm going to go from the end of Vox 1, actually, just to be safe. I'm going to go right here from the end of Vox 1, excuse me. And I'm going to select all this stuff. Now watch this. To bar 0, I want to select from Vox, because I'm going to send all these vocals that they did to bar 0, and you can tell where everything's at because you could see right here where I started. See, 1 1 0 0 0. And then I'm going to the end, which is 3:15 1 0 0 0. Okay. So I've selected all this. Now, even though there is not information in this area, it doesn't matter. Because what matters is that I'm about to consolidate these files to the proper length. This is so, so important. Because if I send all the files at different lengths, there goes another headache for the producer / engineer, either or. They're not going to like you, and they're going to tell you to do this. So I'm showing you how to do this now. Here's Uncle Aaron helping you in advance. All right. 1 second here. Good to see you all, by the way, those of you that are watching while I'm broadcasting this live. I do this once in a while because, first of all, I know I'm going to record it, but then sometimes people have questions that are pertinent to what I'm talking about. So it's great. Okay, so what did I do? I selected it from the beginning to the end. I start at the end. It's just how I am. I don't know why I'm like that. I make sure that before I consolidate these, I labeled them. Okay, so I went to this section right here. I double-clicked, and I labeled them. Vox 1, Vox 2, Vox 3, Vox 4, all the way through 11, all right? So now what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to go up here to where it says Edit. And, of course, this is for Pro Tools users. I'm going to go down to where it says Consolidate Clip. And I've selected all these. I'm going to consolidate them and watch. Magically, voila. And this is because I don't have a very, very new computer. It won't take too long. It's going to go through and it's going to begin to consolidate them. And because we're consolidating them from the end all the way to the same beginning point, look at this. All of these files are going to be the exact same length. So all the producer has to do next is get these files, all 11 of them, grab them from a folder and drag them onto their session. And then magically, it should, of course, if everything's right with the music and when you started everything. In other words, if it lined up in this session, it's going to line up in their session at home. Now, I want to make a very important interjection here. For some reason, whether it be Logic, this happens to me all the time with Logic users, or Pro Tools, if you were to try to bounce these as MP3, they give it a little minuscule extra tail, and everything would be off of this music track right here. See this? Everything will be off of this music track when it gets back to the producer. So, of course, I want to export these all as waves or AIFF, something like that. So to do that, I'm going to go to my next step, which is down here. You'll see a little, like, it's hard to see, I know, in this, it's really small in this view, but you click it and you're going to see all the files. Now, we're going to talk about how to get rid of all these unused files, okay? But the quickest way to send this pre-fader, in other words, I don't want to send it again with reverbs on it, my favorite EQ that I like. No, that job is for the mixer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hand select tool and I'm going to select all these. That was grouped, so it did that. I'm going to select all of these and you're going to see them pop up, well, little by little. If you look to these, you'll see, man, so many. And this is why people send 80 gig vocal sessions. There's not 80 gigs worth of useful vocals, but people send 80 gig vocal sessions because they don't know how to clean up their sessions. And you guys are burning through hard drives like it's nobody's business, and no one is going to use these. Why? Because I just consolidated these files. And all the little clips, those are all those clips right there. If you look at them right there, well, right here, wait, right there. If you look on the side there, you're about to see that these are all going to be mostly unused. So right now, because I selected these actual WAV files, these 11 files that I want, I am going to export these. And all you do is you go up here to where it says clips. There's a drop down folder. And then you're going to go export clips as files. So these ones that I've selected, I want to export them as WAV, not multiple monos. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do, no, actually, okay, if I was sending pianos that are stereo, guitars that are stereo, something like that, I might send these as interleaved. But because I'm sending vocals that I want to end up mono anyways, more than likely, and a lot of people send me stereo of mono vocals. It's a little messy on the panning. Of course, I can break them apart and make them mono again, but you're giving me an extra step times 11 vocals. You see that? And this is why it's so important to have Uncle Aaron here to help you out. So I'm going to go multiple mono because I want these to end up mono over there. We're going to do 24-bit. I'm not sure what their session is, but I think typical is about 24-bit, 48K, and I'm going to choose a destination. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on the desktop. If I was smart, I would have already made a folder that says Alet's vocals, but don't worry, we'll get to that right now. Actually, I see this general conference medley and there's only a click and no BGVs in there. I'm going to put them in there just so it could be cleaner, and I'll change it later. I'll show you. Now, the next thing I'm going to do after I've done wave, multiple mono, because I want to send it mono. I want all the, see, because these are all mono tracks. If you look at them, see, just singular mono tracks, every vocal. Yes, he could pan them stereo and all that kind of stuff if he chooses, but I want to give them all the control that they need to be able to make this mix what it should be. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I chose already the destination. Resolve duplicate file names. Okay, so if there was duplicate file names, it would say to prompt. I like to be prompted for each one just in case I made a mistake and called a different file. And actually, it won't let you do that. But if for some reason there's some kind of duplicate. Okay, now I'm going to export them. Now watch this. This, instead of bouncing each one, muting this is the easiest way to do it if you're going to send these stems out pre-fader. In other words, before all the cool plugins and stuff. Here goes. Export. And now it's going to export these. It won't take long at all. Even while I'm sitting here talking to you and, kind of explaining what I'm doing, this is going to begin to export these for you. And it's going to name them, Vox 7_01 or whatever. Because it's only 11 tracks, if you wanted to be a real sweetheart, you go in there, take out that extra stuff, just put Vox 1, Vox 2, Vox 3, Vox 4, Vox 5, Vox 6, and so on and so forth until you get to 11. This is the part where when you edit these videos, you just go and you fast forward through. But basically, for those of you that are watching with me live tonight, this is what you do. And all you do is you export these files, you put them in a folder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send them to one of Alet's producers on this song. I'm going to put them in a folder. I'm going to zip them to make them a little bit easier in transit, a little smaller, right? And then I'm going to throw them in a Dropbox. I'm going to get that Dropbox link, right? Because I'm going to put them in Dropbox because if you put them in Dropbox, they'll be their full, I want to say in their full glory, but really the full quality, right? Sometimes sending things through, I want to do one by one through message. I mean, it could work, but I've seen iMessage compress files. You don't want to compress or make smaller these files. You want them to arrive in their full glory with all the detail, all the beauty that you would expect from these things. Okay. So, okay, there I did it. So I'm going to put this down real quick. All right. And then you'll find them in GC Medley. Now, I don't want these things to go in there. All right. I don't want these at all. I'm going to just put them down there. I'm going to send these to my friends. All right. And of course, like I said, if you're a sweetheart, you get this and you take out that little 45 dash, whatever. That's weird, right? Just Vox 1, make them simple names, and you go through a little bit of trouble. I mean, look at, I'm just doing this quick video for you guys. You go through a little bit of trouble. Vox 2. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay, now watch that. If you double click a file sometimes like that, it's going to turn out to open up on, so you can't double click files. You got to click once, then click twice. All right, and then you'll have Vox 3. Anyway, so on and so forth. You go through this, and what you do is, I'm going to get this whole thing right here. And I'm going to, let me show you what I'll do just real quickly. Right click, and then you go compress GC medley, and then it's going to make a zip file. Zip files are smaller, easier in transit, won't eat up all your data plan, stuff like that. It's just better in the long run. So there it is. That's what I would do. I'm going to send it over. But before we go, this is very, very important. Let me take you back to my Pro Tools session. All right. So you see all these files. A lot of times, some producers will say, well, send me the Pro Tools session. If you feel to do that, you can do that. It's up to you. But you don't want to send a whole Pro Tools session with 80 gigs or 90 gigs or whatever worth of all your different takes. I mean, these guys were here laying vocals, 11 tracks of vocals for 4 or 5 hours. That's a lot of data. So this is how you clean up your mess. All right. You go to clips and then you go select unused. Look at that, you guys. The blue are all unused data. Data that you will never use again. It's not in your session. It's not on your playlists. Here are the ones that you're going to use down here. And then once you select them, you go back to that drop-down menu and you put clear. Now this could take forever, okay? Do you want to remove selected clips from this session? Move to trash for the selected source files, if possible. Delete selected sources files permanently from disk. That's what I want to do. Delete. Yes. And then you're going to answer yes 100 times for all these things, but they're going to disappear, and not have to worry about them because they're unused. I'm not sure what's going on here. Will be deleted, gone forever. Let me see if I press enter with a help. Yep. Interesting. I'm not sure. Sometimes when I'm broadcasting, Pro Tools acts a little funny. Usually this is quick. It's like, yes, 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 I do want to delete. Yes, I do want to delete. Anyways, just so you know, that's how you do it. You'll say, yes, I want to delete these, gone forever from the files because they're unused files. You get rid of them. Yes, you get to keep all the good files. And now you're going to have a very small, well, I should say not very small, but a smaller, very concise, very clean Pro Tools session that if you wanted to, you could send the whole Pro Tools session, get that whole folder, put it in, zip it, put it in Dropbox, send it to your buds, and boom, there you are, file sharing like a pro. And people are like, oh, this person knows what they're doing. Well, family, I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope it was helpful to you. I know this is going to be helpful. I know this is tedious and slightly boring, but this is why you make the big bucks, because you are going to do things right and producers are going to want to work with you. Let me just tell you a small little cute little story. We were working with some groups, me and Matt, recently, and they sent us a lot of the most busiest sessions, nothing consolidated. It was just a huge, fat data mess. And I told him, I was like, bro, if I wasn't about earning an honest dollar, I would send these back to them and say, I'm sorry, when you're ready to send us good sessions, we'll be happy to work with you. But of course, me and Matt being the pushovers that we are and having little kids that we want to feed, we're like, these people, all these circles, we're going around in circles here. Yay, yay, uneducation. So this is very important. I'm glad that you watched this. Take it to heart. Use it. It's going to be important for you. All right, fam. We'll see y'all later. God bless.